Music is about patterns, both in the frequencies of the sounds played and in the time at which they are played. Patterns in time define rhythm. Patterns in frequency define melody and harmony. Humans can hear sounds at frequencies that range from 20 to 20,000 Hz, or cycles per second. In general, every musical note played in a musical instrument has lots of frequencies. There are integer multiples of one fundamental frequency. But, for clarity, it's better to associate each musical note with only one frequency, the fundamental frequency. When a musical note has a certain frequency, say F1, and a second musical note has a frequency, say F2, which is twice F1, we say that the second musical note is one octave above the first one, or that the first note is one octave below the second one. The number of notes that you can play between two notes one octave apart depends on the musical instrument. In some instruments, like the cello, you can play an infinite number of notes. In others, like the piano and the guitar, you can only play 12 different notes per octave. Why 12? I don't know. Probably because the human ear is not sophisticated enough to distinguish notes if the interval between them is too small. When there are 12 notes in an octave, the interval between two consecutive notes is determined by the factor 2 to the 1 over 12. That is, if the frequency of one note is F, then the frequency of the next note above it is F times 2 to the 1 over 12. Why 2 to the 1 over 12? So that when you apply that process 12 times, you get a note whose frequency is one octave above the frequency of the starting note. When the interval between notes is spaced as just described, the produced musical scale is called well-tempered scale. It has not always been this way. The well-tempered scale was invented only in the 18th century. So, a musical scale is a set of notes. In general, all modern music is written supposing instruments that have 12 notes each octave. This superscale is called chromatic scale. But the chromatic scale is too general. To use all its notes in a melody would produce something that is not too tasteful. So composers tend to use a subset of the chromatic scale, normally a subset that has between 5 and 7 notes each octave. That is the main feature of Lattice. It allows displaying only a particular subset of notes. We will talk about the most common subsets of notes, that is, the most common musical scales, in the next video. I see you there.